what the white shoe boys, the Harvard, Princeton, Yale people, those guys that are born with silver spoons in their mouths, that never really got any dirt under their fingernails, don't understand. When people lose their homes and their jobs, and they're cold and they're hungry, they're going to revolt. And you're going to see it happen already. We saw the first signs in Chicago when the workers refused to leave after their plant was closed down. And you're going to see more of it, and particularly striking out against these CEOs and these banksters. These bank bailouts. When you look at the pay, and again, these banks were failing. These brokerages. They were going under for a while. And you look at their 2007 bonuses that they gave to their CEOs. Blankfein, for example, I believe Goldman Sachs took in maybe, about $25 billion, $10 billion. John Thain, Merrill Lynch. These guys got, $78 million, $55 million. Who's worth that kind of money? This is stealing, broad public. It's criminality. No one is worth that kind of pay, and they're not creating wealth. They're stealing it.
Here in British Columbia, a new stat came out last week, Gerald. The sales of booze have just gone through the roof. Is that a trend you're going to see continuing everywhere around the planet?
Oh, it is. During depressionary times, people like to lift their spirits.
Yeah.
And whether it's tipping them or just feeling good, one of the big trends that we're looking at coming about is a whole entertainment boom. You go back to the Depression, it was the happiest, hottest music this nation had ever seen. It was swing time. And people are going to want to get out of their homes, away from their computers and their text messaging, and they're going to want to, everybody knows how bad it is, and they're going to know how bad it's going to get. They're not going to want to be reminded of it. So escapism is going to be a huge trend in the coming years.
With the age of the computer, Gerald, it just came to me as you were saying that we're all isolated. I'm sitting in my office here in Vancouver. My computer's running. You're in your office back in the Hudson Valley. Everybody's isolated. Is that going to be a big social change? We're going to get a little bit more social as we head into this?
Exactly. That's the whole thing. People are going to start getting cabin fever.
Yeah.
The discos are going to turn into dance halls. We're going to see a big revival, and particularly, by the way, of downtown. Places that are in walking distance, the old towns that have not been destroyed through urban renewal or overbuilding with these gigantic faceless office buildings. Those are going to be still good real estate buys. Not quite yet, maybe in a year or two, but you're going to see more of a resurgence. By the way, what's bad for Wall Street is great for Main Street. It's Wall Street that created these horrors of these huge malls and these massive subdevelopments throughout the country, because they were able to fund these huge corporations. They get funding to do this, and they drive the small mom and pops out of business, and they maul literally the small towns. Well, now that you're going to see all of these bankruptcies come about in the retail sector, that's going to leave gaps to be filled with by small retailers. So as Starbucks closes stores, as they have been, their expansion was less about consumer demand than predatory competition. In other words, what they would do is go into an area, buy out the leases surrounding the coffee shops that were on mom-and-pop operations, and then go in and drive them out of business. So it was more a predatory practice than a consumer demand. So there's still going to be demand for people drinking high-end coffees, just not at Starbucks.
Boy, you've got to come to Vancouver, Gerald. Literally 2 blocks from me, I've got a Starbucks that are literally kitty corner from each other, right across the street. We must have in Vancouver, we're a city of, a couple, about 1.5 million. I bet you we've got 90 or 100 Starbucks. It's nuts. Listen, if parents are listening right now and they're planning to send the kids to university, what happens to all those high-priced colleges and universities if we head into the toilet here?
Well, we're going to see a college crash. If you're going to send your kid to school to get a degree in business administration, foreign relations, communications, journalism, marketing, management, art history. Save your money. They're not going to get a job when they get out. And those are the soft sciences. If they're going for the hard sciences, sure, do it. And if you could afford a a community college, better yet, if they could get the good training at that. So we're going to really start seeing the college crunch, and it's going to follow, by the way, just as exactly what happened in Wall Street, exactly what happened in the real estate market, exactly what's happening in retail. The same thing is going to happen with these colleges. I mean, here these universities building these multi-million-dollar stadiums and paying these multi-million-dollar salaries to coaches and putting all their money into sports has nothing to do with education. And so they're going to be taking a hit as well. And we're going to see also the rise of distance learning. In India and China, distance learning is very big. Hundreds of thousands of engineers learn online in those countries. We're going to see more distance learning happening in this country and in North America, particularly as people cannot afford to send their kids to college. And much of what college is teaching today is really out of sync with 21st century society. The corporate model that's now falling apart. And again, I have a master's degree. I know what college is about. Nobody's going to tell me. I was there. And the fact of the matter is, it's an antiquated system. It's not up to speed for 21st century, and it really needs to change. If there was anything great coming out of the universities, with all these young people having gone to them over the years, we would have felt it in society, and we would not be in the problems that we're in today.
Gerald, how do we protect our family from this economic disaster?
Well, there's that old saying in America, Yankee frugality. Mm-hmm. Use it up, wear it out, make it do without. Yeah. Go back to what they did during the Great Depression. People were survivalists, self-sufficient. Rip up those lawns that are growing grass that you can't eat or smoke, and plant something in there that you could use. Vegetable gardens, arbors, trees. Make it productive. And that's what you're going to see more of, as they do in Europe and other countries that are more advanced in civilization than growing these green carpets that are chemically treated and useless, as I mentioned. And also the other thing is really don't spend a dime that you don't need to buy junk. Anything you buy quality. The people, by the way, I say this mantra everywhere where I go around the world, particularly the manufacturers and service sector. Don't let your quality down. Build the best you could do. Do the best you can do. Quality is what's going to count in the greatest depression. People will buy less, but less is more. They're going to buy better. And also, we don't give financial advice. I'll tell you what I believe. And that is, I believe in gold. I buy gold. Mm-hmm. And I think that if they keep printing money at the rate that they're going in the States particularly, or around the world, sure, actually, we're going to have fiat currencies that aren't going to be worth the paper they're printed on. So I'm a believer that gold is going to go past $2,000 an ounce.
Mr. Celente, it's a real pleasure to have you on, and I hope we are lucky enough to let us darken your door again. I wish you and your group at Trends Research all the best for the remaining part of the year. A happy Christmas and an excellent 2009. It's been a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Well, same to you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Gerald
Celente is the founder-director of Trends Research Institute. His team is online. You can visit him at trendsresearch.com, and I suggest you might look into Trends Journal, his quarterly publication. On behalf of Mr. Celente, this is Tom Jeffries. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on goldradio.fm are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at www.goldradio.fm. Goldradio.fm.